Welcome to Voice of Stories. Discover tales that inspire, captivate, and bring words to life. Subscribe for unforgettable stories.
Victoria, a woman of quiet elegance and careful precision, stood at the stove as the comforting aroma of garlic and herbs filled her small kitchen. The sauce in the pan bubbled gently, sending up wisps of steam that curled around her face like a soft veil. Yet the steam could not hide the silent tears that slipped down her cheeks. With a quick swipe of her sleeve, she brushed them away, hoping to erase more than just the evidence of her sorrow. Her hands moved mechanically, stirring the sauce with a wooden spoon, but her thoughts were anything but calm. The argument with her husband Richard replayed in her mind like an unwelcome tune. His words, sharp and unkind, echoed relentlessly. "You've changed so much, Victoria. Have you even looked at yourself lately?" She tried to focus on the task at hand. The meal she was preparing wasn't just dinner. It was an attempt to piece together some semblance of normalcy. Her sister Claire was visiting, and the thought of seeing her brought a flicker of comfort. Still, the shadows of her life with Richard lingered, making even the prospect of a family gathering feel bittersweet. The kitchen window offered a view of the fading day, the sky painted in strokes of orange and pink. She gazed out for a moment, her grip on the spoon tightening. "Why is this happening?" she whispered into the quiet room. Richard had once been the man of her dreams, a man of warmth, encouragement, and affection. She remembered how he used to look at her, his eyes filled with love and pride. But the man she had fallen in love with had been replaced by someone colder, someone who saw only her flaws and magnified them. The sound of a pan clattering in the sink jolted her back to the present. She blinked rapidly, her trembling hands betraying her attempt at composure. "Claire will be here soon. I have to be okay," she told herself, even as her chest felt heavy with the weight of her thoughts. Dinner wasn't just for Claire and her husband John. It was also for Victoria, a desperate attempt to recreate a sense of security that had long since vanished. She wanted to believe that a perfectly set table and a warm meal could somehow mask the cracks in her life. But the cracks were undeniable, especially in her marriage. Richard, once a man of gentle gestures and kind words, had become someone she barely recognized. His success in business had brought financial stability, but it had also brought arrogance, a transformation Victoria had never anticipated. At family gatherings, Richard would make pointed remarks disguised as jokes. "Victoria has so much free time now, doesn't she?" he would say, his laugh hollow. To others, he appeared as a devoted husband and successful businessman. But within the walls of their home, he was distant and dismissive, his words laced with subtle cruelty. One morning, over coffee, he had looked at her with thinly veiled disdain. "Don't you think you should take better care of yourself?" he had said, his tone casual yet cutting. "Since we got married, you've let yourself go." Victoria had felt the sting of his words like a physical blow. She had given up her career in fashion to focus on their life together, believing they were building something meaningful. But now, that sacrifice felt like a weapon he used against her. The doorbell rang, pulling Victoria from her thoughts. She quickly smoothed her dress and wiped her hands on her apron before opening the door. "Claire!" she greeted, her voice warm despite the ache in her chest. Claire stepped in, her vibrant energy filling the room. She hugged Victoria tightly, as if sensing her sister's need for reassurance. Dinner began with laughter and light conversation, the table beautifully set with gleaming silverware and perfectly arranged dishes. But the tension simmered just beneath the surface. Richard sat at the head of the table, his charm on full display as he entertained Claire and John. Yet his subtle jabs at Victoria did not go unnoticed. "Well, cooking for the family is enough, don't you think?" he remarked, his tone light but his words barbed. Claire's eyes flicked to Victoria, concern etched into her expression. But she chose not to press, keeping the mood light. Still, the unease in the room grew palpable, and it wasn't long before Claire and John decided to leave. At the door, Claire hugged Victoria tightly. "Call me if you need anything, okay?" she whispered, her voice full of quiet concern. When the house fell silent, Richard's mask dropped. His voice turned sharp, his words cutting deeper than before. You're a shadow of the woman I married, he spat, his eyes cold. Victoria stood frozen, the weight of his words crashing over her. But amidst the pain, something inside her shifted. She realized she couldn't endure this any longer. That night, as Richard slept, Victoria packed a suitcase in quiet determination. Every item she folded felt like shedding a layer of the life she no longer wanted. She left a letter on the kitchen table, her words a declaration of freedom. Richard, I've tried to make this work, but I can't anymore. I need to find myself again, and I can't do that here. Goodbye. With a deep breath, Victoria walked out the door. The cool night air wrapped around her, and for the first time in years, she felt a sense of freedom. The rest of the story continues to highlight Victoria's journey, her time at Claire's house, rediscovering her passion for fashion and reclaiming her self-worth. She becomes a celebrated fashion designer, her work a testament to her strength and resilience. Years later, a chance encounter with Richard, now a cab driver, brings closure. Victoria sees him as a reflection of her past, a past she has moved beyond. Their brief exchange underscores her growth, as she firmly but kindly makes it clear that she has no intention of revisiting that chapter of her life. As Victoria steps into her future, her confidence radiates. She has not only survived but thrived, proving to herself and the world that she is capable of greatness. Her journey is a powerful reminder of the strength it takes to rebuild after heartbreak and the beauty of rediscovering one's true self.